Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Tuesday from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill. Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Mr. Hill, how are you?
Doing solid, man. Think about putting the cleats back on all this money going around in free agency right now. What's going on?
We'll talk about that in 15 minutes. There's some cash flying around for sure. We will talk with Leah Van at 1 o'clock. LSU and Tulane tonight from the box. Scott Rabalais at 1:30. Lots to cover with Scott. Obviously, LSU in the market for a basketball coach now, plus playing in the NCAA tournament. LSU women in gymnastics and basketball in their postseason tournament. So Scott will be with us here at 1:30. I'm having trouble getting off the mat today, Jeremy. I'm still just sad. I don't have any problem saying that. I understand that the beginning of the end is here for the LSU basketball program, and it's just so odd to enter an NCAA tournament that way, because my entire childhood just getting into the tournament was such a big deal. And we finally got to the point where LSU is a consistent NCAA tournament team with, a hopeful and a chance to make runs and continue to recruit at a really high level. And you realize that at some point this is going to come to an end this season, and then you're going to hit the doldrums pretty hard. And that is weighing on me. I'm very sad about it. Plus, I have been dealing with these allergies like crazy, sneezing, sniffling, all this kind of stuff. So I took a Benadryl to sleep last night. Slept great, but I can't wake up. Like, I can't get into it today. It's noon. I took this thing, at like 9 o'clock last night. I would feel like I'd be back in action again, but we're still dragging a little bit. We're going to find a way to get through this 2 hours here, and we got a ton to do. So excited to do it. Yesterday, we spent the entire show really outside of a couple of segments with baseball and some NFL talk, talking about the decision to fire Will Wade as the basketball coach at LSU. What we didn't do a lot of yesterday was talk about the draw that LSU received. Got a 6 seed. And as I look at the draw, it's really not bad. I could talk myself into some problems, but on its face, LSU has received a pretty favorable spot here. Iowa State is not very good. They have a good player in Isaiah Brockington, who is really their entire offense at times. Their front court doesn't really present any offensive problems at all, which is something that gives LSU trouble with foul trouble and whatnot. It's an offensively challenged team that LSU should be able to bottle up. We'll certainly dive deeper into them over the next couple of days. We've got a beat writer coming on tomorrow to talk about the Cyclones, who's seen them all day. But you look at it statistically, look at some highlights, and I kind of like the matchup. I think what I talked about this year was, for LSU, the best matchup were teams that are offensively challenged, because LSU can feast on that weakness. I thought the opposite was true last year when LSU was elite offensively. I thought the best matchups for LSU were the great defensive teams, because LSU was going to score anyway. So they would feast on even the team's strengths. This time I think LSU wants to feast on teams' weaknesses. Iowa State is a weak offensive basketball team. I like the first-round draw.
Yeah, I think it's a great draw. When you look at a team that scored 36 points in and out in this season, 41 points on multiple occasions, and you look at the lack of quad one victories, I think it's a great matchup for LSU. I would say, just like you said, it's Brockington or bust. It kind of reminds you of that Vanderbilt team in ways where, if Scottie Pippen Jr. doesn't have it going, then it's not much they can point to. This is the exact same thing. So you got a favorable matchup in round one. Obviously, your coach isn't going to be there, so it's going to be up to the guys to really step up and really take advantage of this matchup, because you really couldn't draw it up any better. We talked about Missouri being an amazing matchup for LSU, just how they, went back and forth with each other with their lack of guards and lack of, things they can do on the perimeter. I think I would say they walk in right into that same mantra. They're just not a super talented team. They don't strike you and fear you as a team that's going to go out there and score 80, 90, push for 100. It's just not the team that you're going to play. So this is a matchup for LSU that they can fully take advantage of.
So that's the first step. Obviously, the second step would very likely be Wisconsin in Milwaukee. That on its face seems very difficult, and I think it would be very difficult. Wisconsin is second in the country in taking care of the basketball. They are exceptionally well coached. They're disciplined. They're the same every single year. It was the same way, under the previous coach, and now they've got Greg Gard, and it's a continuation of what they have been. They are top 50 in the country in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. They've got the Big Ten Player of the Year in Johnny Davis, who's one of the top 5 players in the country, I think. But they just lost back-to-back games to Nebraska and Michigan State. So, yeah, they're good. Yeah, it's in their backyard. But they didn't play exceptional basketball over the last week of the season.
No, they don't. I think for me, watching LSU play those type of teams, just when Tari Eason kind of has those athletic matchups, he can kind of take advantage of that. We've seen Darius Days get on the block and take advantage. And I think this Wisconsin team, that they match up for LSU that way as well, too. So we're not the world beaters. I know if it was Gonzaga or some of these other teams out there, I'd be really, really worried going in round 2. But you feel like if you can handle business in round 1 against a team that doesn't really isn't that prolific scoring, you kind of have a chance here. That's when you kind of look at the bracket and kind of see what other teams are right there after you.
The wrench that can get thrown into this, and this is what you allow for yourself when you move yourself off the 8-9 line and you move yourself towards 6. You allow the opportunity for an upset on the other side of the bracket. Now, I'm certainly not going to call for it, but I'm telling you that Colgate is playing Wisconsin. Colgate is one of the 5 best three-point shooting teams in college basketball. They've got a ton of seniors. They've won a ton of games this year, and that's a team that on the wrong day in the NCAA tournament could light it up and make 16 threes on you and beat you. Now, Wisconsin wants to slow it down, and Colgate's kind of the same way. So that amount of threes, man, but they can get hot and make a bunch of shots, and then all of a sudden you are facing a team that is athletically inferior to you in the second round. Wisconsin, athlete for athlete, is inferior to LSU, but they're still a Power 5 team that wins a lot of games in the Big Ten, so I don't put as much into that. Colgate, you'd have better dudes then.
Oh, yeah, you definitely would have better dudes. And we've seen this team really do a phenomenal job against the three-point line. I was worried about Kellen Grady. I thought he'd fill the box score up and, light us up for 7 or 8 threes. But you saw, the way they were locking down on the three-point shooters, really focusing in on those guys. So if they do somehow get matched up against Colgate, I feel like with the perimeter guys we have on the outside, I feel like that'd be a great matchup defensively for LSU.
And then the next game down the line, as you really further project it and you look at a Sweet 16 matchup, LSU would get Auburn. Mm-hmm. And Auburn's just not playing that well. Are they better than LSU? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Are they far more terrifying in Auburn Arena than they are getting them somewhere across the country? Yeah. So, again, we're about to talk about LSU. The point of this segment was about what is ahead of them. I don't think Iowa State's very good. I think Colgate has a swinging chance against Wisconsin. Maybe you can get your way to a second weekend and find yourself against an Auburn team that just away from home hadn't played very well. I mean, am I talking you into this at all?
Yeah. I mean, it's some favorable matchups. I think you couldn't have got a better draw for your LSU, especially being a 6 seed. Looking at some of the matchups that you're going to get, it's not some of the, the world beaters that are in this country right now. Teams are just playing lights out basketball. Auburn, just whatever reason, they down the SEC stretch, playing a lot of games close and losing a lot of games on the road. This would obviously be away from Auburn, and it's a neutral site game for them. So we'll see how they can respond. They weren't that impressive to me. I know the Aggies made a run in the SEC tournament, but they weren't impressive there either. So if you somehow find your way down the road, down the tournament, and you've won some games, got some rhythm, got hot, playing well with Coach Wade not being around, then you can start feeling good about that matchup against Auburn.
I'm a numbers guy, so you generally bring them into the discussion. And so I'll give you some numbers on LSU. None of them will shock anyone because we've watched this team play for 4 months now. But here's where they finished the regular season. The 6th-ranked defensive efficiency team in the country, 7th best in terms of opponents' shooting percentage, opponents' points per game, 25th in the country. Best team in college basketball at steals per game and steals per possession, number 1 in the nation. They were 35th in block percentage, which I surprised a little bit. Just don't see this team swatting a ton of shots, but they're in the top 35, where they were a disaster on defense, as we well know. Fouls per possession, 315th in the country, and fouls per game, 326th in the country. So those are your defensive metrics. On the offensive side of the basketball, really good on offensive rebounding, 22nd in the nation. Everything else pretty pedestrian. on offense. 302nd in turnovers per possession, which is awful. Shooting percentage just 152nd. We know it's not a team that shoots it great. Offensive efficiency kind of puts everything together. 160th in the country. It's a team that's going to probably go as far as their offense allows them. We think the defense will probably be there. On offense, how often do you turn it over, and can you knock down some shots? That's basically on the floor what it's going to be. Is that the most important thing to you, or is it mentally how they adapt to life without their head coach?
I think it's a little bit of both of that, but if I had to pick one or the other, I would love to get some offense from this team. We kind of know their limitations, this far into the season, just watching this team all year. Even at full health, I know Adam Miller's out the bunch, but with everyone else in the mix, we kind of know that. We know sometimes this team cannot, be the best prolific scorers and have those guys that can really just fill the box score up offensively. And we know sometimes they're going to foul and have the other team in the bonus, and they're going to be seeming like they're in a free throw shooting contest from the start of the game. So we know that going into it. But if I had to say, I think if these guys are knocking out shots, this team's going to be tough to beat. The pressure they put on you defensively, just the way they are, and Tari Eason going to the basket, attacking it the way he does so aggressively. They're going to be tough. But if they're not, and then you're fouling everyone, and then now you're putting the turnovers on top of that, we've seen that team show up to play basketball too. So it's going to be exciting to see, how they respond with Coach Wade being out. I think that can never be oversaid because, all these guys, he's recruited all of them, and all of them are here because of him. Now they're going to have to step up big with him being out the picture.
You just wonder what the mental mindset of this team is. Are we going to galvanize and come together and play for the group we've been with now for 4 months? Or are we going to decide, what, first sign of adversity, it was a good run. We're all headed somewhere else now. Got to look into the transfer portal. Got to look to the NBA. Got to look out of town. That's a good run. We're out of here. You don't know. If I could tell you I had a confident lean one way or another, I would do it. I've seen this team respond to adversity all year long. This is a whole different ballgame. This is a whole different ballgame for this team. So we'll see what, in fact, they decide to do. I want to remind you, as we have for the last 2 weeks now, about Earlapalooza coming up on Saturday. Got the Wearing of the Green Parade Saturday morning. It is back after 2 years away. Earlapalooza is the official after party of the Wearing of the Green Parade. It is at Uncle Earl's Perkin and Acadian, walking distance from the parade route. You do not want to miss this lineup. Flo Rida, Nelly, Manny Fresh, Parrish County Line. It is going to be awesome, and you cannot get tickets the day of. You can't walk up and get tickets. We're giving them away at 1045ESPN.com. Go to the contest page and go to Earlapalooza, or you can just buy your tickets. UncleEarls.com is where you can buy your tickets. Got to buy them over the next few days because you cannot get them on Saturday, the day of walking up. So go to UncleEarls.com or register at 1045ESPN.com for your free tickets to Earlapalooza Saturday. Things crank up just after noon when the parade wraps up right there on Perkins. We got a ton to do today on a Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill. NFL free agency. When we come back, Duke Riley, DJ Chark, they've made their decisions. Plus, the first huge domino in the Saints free agency plans has fallen. We'll tell you about that next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Take a shot on college hoops this March with a risk-free bet on FanDuel Sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. All customers get a risk-free bet on the bracket. Just sign into the FanDuel Sportsbook app, claim yours today. New to FanDuel, sign up with promo code 1045ESPN to get in on the action. Then you can bet on the underdog if you've had your eye on, or you can go with the favorite. Either way, it's risk-free.
It is risk-free. That is absolutely right. I'm looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, and it's got all your games are already there with your lines. But you've also got futures odds on national champions. Gonzaga is your favorite at plus 300. I kind of like the value on Kentucky at plus 850. Bet $100 to win $850. You want a little bit more of a long shot. We just talked about Auburn. We know they got the talent. Plus 1,600 on a $100 bet with Auburn. So check it out. Join now. Use the promo code 1045ESPN. If you've already got an account, sign in with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Claim your risk-free bet today. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. Refund issued on a non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $5. Offers non-transferable. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person. Connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why.
Have you found yours?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
On a Tuesday edition of Early Line, we made it to March Madness, and Lee Sterling of the Locked On Bets podcast joins the show to give us some picks. Plus, we look ahead to LSU's opening round matchup with Iowa State. Join us, 2 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Checkbooks are out. Major League Baseball and the NFL are paying people by the minute around here. So we're going to talk about some LSU guys who have signed new deals today in NFL free agency, but we are going to start with the first domino to fall in the Saints offseason plans, and that is Marcus Williams. Of course, the Pro Bowl safety. He is headed to Baltimore. 5 years, $70 million deal. There are decisions that have to be made with the Saints team. You've got enough young talent that you've hit on in the draft between Armstead and Ramczyk and Kamara and Thomas and Williams, and you made your decision on Hendrickson previously, and there are so many big time players that you have drafted and have had homegrown. You can't keep them all, and the Saints decided safety was not a place where they were willing to break the bank. So Marcus Williams is going to head to Baltimore.
Yeah. I thought that going into it. Safety's just sometimes that position. I know they put the tag on him last year, but sometimes that position just isn't that, we're going to win or lose, 3 or 4 games that really map that difference maker, like the quarterback position or maybe like a defensive edge rusher or maybe a receiver can. So I could see the Saints doing that. I still think they're in a little cap trouble right now. There's still some moves they got to do to really get to the spot where they want to be, to really be able to re-sign some guys and maybe make a move after a quarterback, which is you see there in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. So making that signing would not have helped that in that regard either. So I can understand it. It's a big payday for him. He's worked really hard to get to this position. So you just wish him well at his time in Baltimore.
For sure. So you mentioned it. Deshaun Watson is a guy that the Saints are rumored to be in on. You're going to have to clear a lot of space, and you're going to have to make a heck of a deal headed towards Houston to get him into town. But either way, if it's Deshaun Watson, if it's Jameis Winston, if it's somebody else, you're going to have to pay a quarterback at some point. You've got to clear some room. I would imagine that's paramount in their thoughts entering this offseason.
Yeah, 100%. You know that, the Saints, especially with Tom Brady coming back in the division, now you've had your way with him. So you feel like they're going to be competitive. They're going to want to win now. They're not going to want to rebuild. And if you want to win now, you're going to have a quarterback. I think all Saints fans remember watching Ian Book out there play quarterback, watching Taysom Hill out there play quarterback, watching Trevor Siemian play quarterback. Just, if you're going to challenge and make playoff runs, those guys to me just can't get it done. So you want to have a guy in there this year that you can be fully confident in and really, feel like you have that advantage against Tampa Bay and some of these other teams. And to do that, got to clear some cap space and you got to get active in the market, which Saints are, I think, trying to do both.
Poor Myers, my son, first game he ever watched was Saints with Ian Book at QB. We were in the hospital room watching Ian Book back there. It was not great, is what we were trying to teach the young man about football, and he did not learn much offensively that night with the Saints and Dolphins. So that's the first domino for the Saints to fall, not unexpected. The thought was maybe Tyrann Mathieu a fit now as you move Marcus Williams on. I wouldn't imagine that Tyrann would command as much money as Marcus Williams, correct, with his age. I mean, he's a hell of a player, but it's not quite going to be that price tag.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure Tyrann's going to really see what the market bears right now, especially being a veteran safety with the leadership that he brings to a team. I think really that's what it is. And if the market isn't that for him, probably somewhere around 7-8 million plus, I think you can definitely see the Saints making a deal for Tyrann Mathieu, especially, losing a guy like Marcus Williams at the safety position. You're going to need to refill that hole in that defensive play at the level that it has, doing, the things they've done year in and year out. You're going to need playmakers out there, and that's exactly what my boy Tyrann Mathieu is.
Couple one-year deals for some guys that you know well. Duke Riley re-signing with the Dolphins, 1 year, $3 million. That's one of these stories. Russell Gage fits right into it. Justin Jefferson fits right into it. Duke Riley is kind of forgotten at that time, but a guy from Louisiana, basically the last person into the class, took some time to develop on campus and all of a sudden blossomed into a really nice player and is now making a hell of a living in the NFL. Duke Riley headed back to Miami. Good deal.
Oh, yeah, definitely a great deal. He's definitely a feel-good story. A guy, wasn't the, 5-star, 4-star guy coming into LSU, but, really played his tail off on special teams year in and year out till he got opportunity to play on defense. And he's carried that same effort and energy to the NFL and, really carved himself out a nice role. And him getting paid in Miami, I think that's a huge deal. And you got to tip your cap to Duke, man. He's worked extremely hard to get where he is.
Miami, one end of the spectrum. Detroit, probably the other end of the spectrum. That's where DJ Chark is headed. 1 year deal, $10 million fully guaranteed. Basically a prove-it contract. And for DJ, prove it to yourself. Play in Detroit 1 year, go 4-13, and then see what the market bears on the other side of it.
Yeah. If definitely could probably pick some more other places than Detroit, but hey, you got to get it where you can get it. And for DJ, I think that's a great opportunity for him. Nice little payday for him. And obviously an opportunity to me. Like, I think he's probably their most talented receiver right now. And I know he's coming off injury, but it's going to be a great opportunity for him to kind of be the leader in that receiver room and get a bunch of targets and really show what you can do in this league. And I'm sure he's going to be ready to go out there and do that.
Adam Schefter reporting the Saints are right in the middle of the Jarvis Landry situation. Now, we talked about it yesterday. You know Jarvis very well. This is not inside information. You just feel like it's a guy he's going to go play with a proven quarterback at this point in his career. The Saints are the opposite of that. They have the most unsettled quarterback room maybe in the league to this point, right now in the calendar. But it is home. So what do you think?
I got to see what they do with quarterback first. Final Jarvis, he wants to play with that guy, man. And I know, a lot of people feel their way about Tannehill. A lot of people feel whatever way about Baker Mayfield. I just don't think those guys are the upper echelon guys. Guys, you need to go have those, historic seasons and really go show the world what you can do. And I think at this point in his career, I think that's exactly what he needs. Coming off injury, really coming off being released and having the team doubt you and everything you've done so far. It's now or never right now. So I think for him going to a team with a proven quarterback, maybe the Saints can do that. If they go sign Deshaun Watson, then I'd say sign him up right now. But let's see how that thing plays out. I'm going to hold New Orleans out of it right now.
But New Orleans, the proven quarterback thing is the most important. But the other side of this is they do have a proven number one. that can make your life a little bit easier. When you figure they got to spend a lot of time dealing with Michael Thomas, he gets into the slot and starts doing some work. I would imagine that has to help the Saints.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. I think, the organization that they've been, just consistency they've shown, even players like Janoris Jenkins, who got cut by the team but still had nothing but great things to say, that's only attractive to free agents and guys who want to come into a culture and win now. So I could see that, but I just still know how important the quarterback is.
All right, you ready for some fun with numbers? This is very fun stuff we're going to do here. I've long contended that the two best gigs in sports are backup quarterback and caddy. Now, both take a lot of skill and a lot of hard work. Backup quarterbacks have to be ready to play, have to go out there and practice, long hours, working in the QB room. Like, it's not like you just show up, play golf, and hold a clipboard. Like, obviously there's a lot that goes into it. But on the event Sunday that your starting quarterback doesn't get hurt, you're sending a lot of signals and listening to a lot of headphones. That's a pretty good gig. Yeah. Caddy, yeah, you got to carry the bag. Yeah, if it's raining, you got to go nuts. You got to scout the course. There's a ton of hours that go into it. Travel's terrible. But you can get paid really, really nicely. I mean, look, Cam Smith's caddy yesterday made about $350K for 4 days of work. So those gigs are very, very good in sports. Chase Daniel has the market cornered on backup QBs. He just re-signed with the Chargers on another one-year deal. This guy has a career earnings of almost $39 million. $38,903,471 in career earnings to this point. So almost $39 million. In his 10 years, he's completed at least 5 passes in a season 5 times. Less than 5, 7 times. Sorry, 12 years. Less than 5 completions in 7 years. So if you start to extrapolate the numbers out here on Chase Daniel, $38.9 million in earnings, 178 completions on his career. 178 completions for his career. He has made almost $220,000 per completion. So what did I do? I ran the numbers. What if Drew Brees got paid the same amount per completion as Chase Daniel? So Chase Daniel, $39 million, $218,000 per completion. If you paid Drew Brees $218,000 per completion, his career earnings would be $1,569,941,326. $1.56 billion if Brees got paid per completion the way that Chase Daniel has. That is a good gig by Chase Daniel.
Oh, man, Chase is killing it, man. You got to tip your cap to guys like Chase, man. Just, year in and year out being that veteran leadership presence in the locker room and, holding the clipboard, man, at a high clip, man. No one holds it like my boy Chase. So, but nah, he's carved up a nice niche for himself in the league, man, being a backup, and they get paid a ton of money. Something happens to the starting guy. You trust that guy to go in there and possibly get you some wins. Chase has done that with the best of them, man. I can't hate the brother, man. He's doing a good job doing it.
I feel like Brees wouldn't have to invest as much in walk-ons and Jimmy Johns and every other place you see him advertising if he made $1.5 billion over his years in New Orleans and San Diego. But he had to slum it for about $40 million a year there for a while, so he'll have to keep pumping his money into those investments. Stay hot, Drew. You're the man. Chase Daniel, you're the man. Yeah, feels great. Hadn't had to deal with all the injuries, getting beat up every week, just making $39 million over a 12-year career. 7 times, hasn't completed 5 passes in a year. Amazing stuff by Chase Daniel. What we should all aspire to. When we come back, take a look back at college basketball. We will have Leah Vann at 1 o'clock talking LSU and Tulane. Scott Rabalais at 1:30 covering all things LSU sports. Stick with us. It's Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We'll continue watching the Saints' pursuit of Deshaun Watson, and we'll start to prepare you for LSU Iowa State in the big dance. Join us Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Leah Van in 30 minutes. LSU and Tulane tonight from the box. 6:30 first pitch. You can catch it on Eagle 98.1. Or 6 o'clock. Chris Blair and Doug Thompson on the call for LSU and Tulane tonight. Get you a look at the Green Wave, plus some updates that Leah got yesterday on Blake Money, on Alex Milazzo. All that coming at 1 o'clock, 1:30. Scott Rabalais will check in with us. We appreciate Scott for doing so as well. Let's look at the way that the tournament shook out for the Southeastern Conference, Jeremy. We've been following this league all year, got a pretty good handle on all the teams in it. So we'll kind of check them off one by one here. And I want to start with Kentucky. Got a 2 seed in the East Regional. They will get St. Peter's in the first round. Then they will get the winner of Murray State and South Florida. Texas and Purdue likely would be next. and then Baylor would be the team that they would have to deal with as the 1 seed in their regional. I love this Kentucky team. I think they're really, really good. Hopefully they've gotten healthy. When I look at their regional, more so than Baylor, who I think is really good, Purdue gives me a lot of calls. Jaden Ivey is maybe the best player in the country. And in the NCAA tournament, I like the best player on the floor. I think that's a big deal, especially when you get late into games that are really tight. Just give me the guy that can go get a bucket. And Jaden Ivey is that in spades. Kentucky has to do things a little bit more differently, but they can certainly get there. What do you think is the realistic situation here for this Kentucky team?
Man, I like Kentucky, man. I've always felt like they're a Final Four team when you literally look at all the talent on their team. And sure, Casey Gaines is going to love to hear this, about his Wildcats. But, yeah, I think they're going to win it, man. I think right now, with Oscar Tshiebwe being as dominant as he has been, them getting Xavier Wheeler and Ty Washington back into that lineup, I just feel it. I think it's Cal's time to finally make that run again. It's been a long time since they've done that. I think this year is their year.
You think they're going to win the whole thing?
I think so. That's what I have winning it.
I've got Purdue clipping them. That would be in the Sweet 16. They would get the 3 seed Purdue, but we will see. It looks like a fairly good draw for the Cats. I don't think Baylor is great as 1 seeds go. I think they're really solid. They're the defending national champs. There's no reason to totally bet against them. But if Kentucky got to Baylor, I would pick Kentucky to win that game. Auburn is a 2 seed in the Midwest with LSU. They will open things up with Jacksonville State. Then they will get USC and Miami's winner. USC is huge. They've got 4 starters that are 6'8" or bigger, and Mobley is a really, really good big. So where Auburn does have a size advantage and a skill advantage at that size most of the time, if USC gets by Miami, USC can play with Auburn at the rim and in the post. The question is, can they deal with Green and Johnson and even Smith out on the perimeter? That remains to be seen. But USC certainly has the bigs to deal with Auburn.
Yeah, they do. I think they have more guys that are, guard multiple positions, not that true 5 like you see a Walker Kessler as. They got guys who can guard Jabari Smith and maybe switch on to some of the 2s that Auburn has. And to me, the way Auburn's been playing, they give me the most cause for concern going into this tournament. I don't know which team's going to show up. They've really, not played that consistent brand of basketball that earned them the number 1 team in the country and penciled a lot of people wanted to pencil in as the number 1 seed going into this tournament. They have not played that well. So would I be shocked if USC beat them? I would not, just based off what I've been seeing and them really not going to Jabari enough down the stretch of some of these games. To me, if this Auburn team's going to be the team we know they can be, I think you got to give teams probably, 60 to 70% Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith all game long and just let those 2 dominate. But that's not the brand of basketball they play. They spread it around. I think that's what's been getting them in a lot of trouble lately.
So if they are to get by the USC Miami winner and get to the Sweet 16, that's where they would run into LSU, Iowa State, Wisconsin, or Colgate. The odds are that Wisconsin is the team there. Could be LSU. I like Auburn in any of those matchups. Then you got to deal with Kansas, who I think is very, very good and will give Auburn all they want. I just don't trust this Auburn team anymore. I did for months, and right now the way they are playing away from Auburn Arena gives me too much pause. They didn't look good in the SEC tournament, losing that game to Texas A&M. I'm off Auburn. I've actually got USC beating Auburn in my bracket because of the size that they've got. I think USC is a team that can get to the Sweet 16. I've actually got USC all the way into the Elite 8 playing Kansas because I like their front court and Mobley that much. I know the cliche is that guard play is what does it in the NCAA tournament, and I don't think that's wrong, but I just like USC's size in this half of the bracket. It's what I went into when we talked about LSU at the top of the show. It's not a brutal little quadrant that LSU has found itself in, and that's why I think USC can get out of it alive. Tennessee is a 3 seed in the South region. They will open things out with a school I've never heard of, Longwood, never heard of it. Yeah. But then they would get the Colorado State-Michigan winner. I don't think Michigan's very good. Then they would get Ohio State-Villanova. That's a problem because Nova is very, very good. Gillespie's a star. And then they're in the same side as Arizona as well. I like Tennessee's team. I don't like them getting through Villanova and Arizona to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, that's a tall task, and they've been playing extremely well. The way they played in the SEC tournament, obviously the way they played the latter half of the SEC stretch, they've been playing extremely well. Vasquez, Chandler, Fulkerson's come off the bench and done good things. So, man, those are going to be some great matchups. Tennessee, I'll say this, is a team that I wouldn't want to be playing going into this tournament because they can hit you at waves. They have depth. They play great defense, and they're well coached by Coach Barnes. So, I would look out for Tennessee. I don't know if they're going to beat those Arizona and some of these other teams, but I would not be shocked if they found themselves in the Elite Eight and made a run.
They played Villanova back in November before Thanksgiving and just got crushed. Nova killed them. Now, that doesn't matter. It was so long ago. But that's the case. We've already seen that game. Of course, they played Arizona as well. That was in Thompson-Boling Arena, and Tennessee blitzed them. So the Vols are looking at teams they've already played as obstructions to the Final Four. Arkansas got a 4 seed in the West. They will open things up with Vermont, who is a very, very veteran team. We'll see if Vermont can bombs away enough threes to stay in that against Arkansas. I don't feel great about that. Then you get UConn. Coach Hurley's team is tough and has played in some really tight games all year long. I like UConn. They beat Auburn back in November. Then Arkansas would get Gonzaga. I don't see Arkansas getting by that gauntlet. That's the issue with being a 4 seed. You're going to get that one there coming up in the Sweet 16. I like Gonzaga to beat them, so I think Arkansas is a one-weekend team.
Yeah, I could see that too. I think for me, you definitely see them winning round one. That looks like it's in the fold, but it's a wacky NCAA tournament. Who knows? There's going to be a lot of upsets. That's what makes it so fun. How do you pick who and where it falls? But to me, I think Arkansas, they can win that round one matchup. But Gonzaga, man, they're tough, and I think for Gonzaga, they've heard their reputation year in and year out. They can get far, they can make runs, but they can't win the big one. This is probably the most talented team they've had in a very long time. So,
Chet,
yeah, big
Drew
Chet,
Timmy,
man. Yeah, they're solid, man. So I think you can see. I can see Gonzaga making that Final Four run and knocking Arkansas up there in their way.
Arkansas got a draw with Gonzaga, Duke, and Texas Tech. That's tough. Those are just tough teams to beat. So we'll see if the Hogs have it in them to get to the second weekend. And then Bama, 6 seed in the West. We have talked about this all year long. I've decided I'm out. I'm taking the Rutgers Notre Dame winner to beat Alabama.
You're that out on them, man. Look, I wouldn't go that far. I think they're good enough to win the round one matchup. It's just they're so boom or bust, man. Those outside shots are falling. Quinn Lee's hitting, Shackelford's hitting. We've seen Davison hit his share of threes this year, but if they're not, they really don't have the defense that you would need to really shut people down, and they can let people get their score on the other end, and so. It's tough, but I think they can win a one-on-one matchup. Would I be shocked if they made a run? No, because that's just what this team's done. They have the high of highs, and they really have the low of lows. But as far as, just them losing round one, I don't know if I can bite that apple.
I mean, their matchup with Texas Tech is a terrible one. Alabama wants to drive and get to the rim. Texas Tech is one of the best teams in the country at cutting off dribble drives and making you shoot over the top. Of course, Alabama wants to do that, but they've been bombing away all year long and not making shots. So I like, even if they do get out of that, Texas Tech will beat them. And then if Texas Tech doesn't beat them, then they got Duke and Gonzaga. It's just that the West is too difficult. That's the one that I would not want to be in with a team as insanely talented as Duke sitting right there, and then a Gonzaga team that is really talented as well, very well coached, and has a lot of postseason experience. So that's just the wrong bracket to get in. When you look at LSU having Wisconsin up there as the 3 and Auburn as the 2, and you look at this that has Gonzaga at the 1 and has Duke at the 2, that's just a more difficult draw if you were to progress. Now, maybe this doesn't matter because you get eliminated the first or second game and none of this comes to fruition. But if you were to try to make a Final Four run, I just hate that you would draw Gonzaga and Duke, and that's what has happened here for Alabama as well as Arkansas.
Yeah, it's tough, man. You can pick a too tougher matchup. It's Coach K's last NCAA tournament, so those guys are going to be ready to go and battling for him. And we just talked about Gonzaga just then really coming up short year in year out. Those are two teams you're going to have to see. And then there's some other teams you can look out for, too. I think Texas Tech is a team that I think could make a run in this tournament as well. So just tough draws for Alabama and Arkansas.
We want you to invite you to get into the 104.5 Bracket Challenge. It's brought to you by Coors Light and Acura of Baton Rouge. You go to 1045ESPN.com, go to the contest page, the same place you were going to get Earlapalooza tickets, and just enter for the Bracket Challenge. You can win some awesome stuff. First place wins $2,022 in cash. Second place wins a 75-inch television and sound bar. Third place picks up a 2-night stay at the Beau Rivage. And if you get last place, just try to lose as many as you want, you get a $100 gift card to Twin Peaks. All the winners are going to get a swag pack from Coors Light. And if you get a perfect bracket, $10,000 towards the lease of the purchase of a new Acura. So go to 1045ESPN.com. You can win cash, TVs, hotel stays, gift cards. It's all there, 1045ESPN.com. We will come back and close out hour number 1, a little bit of LSU baseball. Leah Vann in 15 minutes, Scott Rabalais in 45 minutes. Stick with us. Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Love telling you about Sync Wellness. You can find them at synkwellness.com. They've got these science-based supplement regimens developed just for you. We talk about getting that blood draw. Complete your health intake. Your blood sample will be tested using cellular nutrition assay, and there will be a powerful measure up to 100 micronutrients at your cellular level, and they'll determine where it is that you're deficient. And once they make those determinations, they can put together that custom-based supplement regimen for you. They will take the supplements, they'll package them together in their Sync pack, they'll deliver them to you. You don't have to take the pills and put them all in the pill bottles. You don't have to worry about cutting pills or rationing them out or dealing with the bottle. No, they do it all for you at Sync Wellness. That is the supplement side. The IV hydration side is also an incredible benefit that they've got at Sync Wellness.
Yeah, why schedule an IV hydration? Here are just some of the many reasons why people trust this simple yet highly beneficial service to refresh and revive your body after strenuous activity, to aid in optimal sports and athletic performance, to recover faster from illness, and it can also help slow down aging.
Yeah, they got Angie Huff, who's their licensed doctor of pharmacy over there, the 2015 Louisiana Compounding Pharmacist of the Year. Get off the Highland exit right there at Old Perkins, or, as we always tell you every single day, go to synkwellness.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You know Miller Lite only has one more calorie, right?
And more taste. Good choice.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. Shop now at BayouFord.com. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthier.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why.
Have you found yours?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Mariotti and Mike Delicano for the Tuesday evening edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid-City. 6 to 8 p.m. right here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Once very, very bitter rivalry. I'm not sure it's there anymore. It was certainly that in the 50s and 60s and right around the turn of the century. LSU and Tulane, real salty on the baseball diamond. Obviously, Hurricane Katrina did a number on this Tulane baseball program. Hadn't quite recovered since then, but a solid team this year that's coming into the box. This is a team that took 2 out of 3 from Louisiana Tech up in Ruston on a weekend series and just finished off a couple weeks ago beating Mississippi State 2 out of 3. They got blasted 19-2 in Friday's game and then came back Saturday and Sunday, won 11-10 and 5-4. Interestingly, you beat Louisiana Tech and you beat Mississippi State 2 out of 3, and then you turn around and get swept by Evansville last weekend. So who's to say? In the midweek so far this year, this Tulane team lost to Southern Miss last week. They beat Texas Southern 10-2. They trounced Southeastern 23-1 in a midweek game, and then they beat Nichols 7-5 down in Thibodaux back on February the 23rd. So look, a solid team that's coming in this evening from Tulane, but fact of the matter is that midweek games are going to be about you and what you can handle. And LSU, we assume, will go with Will Helmers again tonight on the mound and then chop it up and get a bunch of guys some work. This is a Tuesday night midweek game that is leading into a Friday weekend series, so maybe extend somebody if they've got it going and you want to give an extended look. But most important thing for me, I guess, tonight would be keep those bats rolling and continue to play the defense that you played over the weekend, which was a lot better.
Yeah, most definitely. I think you definitely want to continue the strides you've been making defensively, because that was something that was really giving me a lot of cause for concern with this team, especially in the games they've lost. It just seems like errors and routine plays that you should be making, you weren't making them, and then now you got guys, losing confidence and continue to make those bad habits, something that, becomes habit. So I think for these midweek games that we love to talk about, I think continuing the defensive play and continue the bats, man. I think we got some guys really swinging the bat extremely well right now. I think you want to continue to see that and really try to, keep that confidence and that morale and that swagger going in the SEC play coming up.
The thing I'm noticing with Jordan Thompson is he's making the really difficult plays, the diving plays in the hole, the balls on the move, some short hops. Like, he's really played well. It's the simple plays that are giving him the biggest issue, just throwing the ball to first base, routine ground balls, double play balls. Those are the ones that have been kind of issues for him. I think that's going to get cleaned up. I still think Kay Doty is a really good defender over there at second base. I think he can play third base as well. Last week, Jay Johnson was on with Jacob Hester and with Charles Hannegriff, and they asked, hey, you thought about switching Merrifield and Doty, letting Doty play third, Merrifield at second? That's what they played last year, Merrifield at Eunice and Doty here at LSU. So we kind of looked at it, but we don't really want to do that. And I'm fine with it. It hasn't been as bad over the last 2 weeks as it was for the first 3 weeks, and it all reared its ugly head in Houston, where you were just atrocious on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he would, move some stuff around, shuffle around, but he's staying pat for the most part. You're seeing a little more DiGiacomo in right field, but other than that, I think he's stud pat, especially with the infield. So maybe they're seeing it every day. I think that's something that, you may lose sight of if you're not there practicing every day, seeing what those guys are working on, seeing, everything that they're doing day in and day out. And maybe that's why Coach Johnson feels like, hey, let's stand pat. Let these guys continue to get better at what they've been doing, and it'll work out for the better half of this season. So that's what he's done so far, and I think I'm going to trust him that these guys can continue to make plays in the field.
One name to watch for Tulane tonight: Ethan Groff. He is their leading hitter, the only hitter they have over 300. Actually, he is hitting .411 on the season. He leads Tulane in batting average, in hits, in doubles, in home runs, in runs driven in walks, in hit by pitches, and he has the fewest strikeouts. He is by far the best hitter that they've got. This is my opinion. When you play a team that has one guy who is performing at a level so much higher than everybody else, let's just not let him beat us. I don't need to have a massive ego. I don't need to challenge anybody. If Ethan Groff comes up with runners on second and third and one out, let's just go ahead and move him on down the line and get him down to first base and let somebody who's hitting below 300 on the year, who does not have as potent a bat as Ethan Groff, beat us. So that's the one note that I've got on Tulane for tonight. No word on a starting pitcher that I've seen thus far, but Leah Van's going to join us here pretty shortly to go into what she's heard. We want injury updates. Blake Money, who I saw on Sunday with a brace on his wrist. Jay Johnson updated his status yesterday. We'll see if Leah's got anything further. Want to know how Alex Milazzo is progressing. The word is he should be ready to go this weekend, which would be a nice lift to LSU defensively behind the plate. So we'll see what the status is of Alex Milazzo, as well as anything else she's seen, as we haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks. So excited to talk to Leah Van here coming up at the top of the hour. Scott Rabalais on all things LSU sports. The ladies getting the 3 seed in their bracket, to the gymnastics team starting postseason, and certainly his thoughts on LSU's basketball program and where it goes from here post Will Wade and in the NCAA tournament. So excited to talk to Scott as well. If you missed our first hour, you can go back and check it out on demand, 1045ESPN.com. We talked about LSU's tournament draw at the top of the show. NFL free agency, hot and heavy right now. We went into that at 12:15. Talked some SEC tournament, NCAA tournament paths in the previous hour, and we will be locked and loaded here coming up in hour number 2. Just a reminder, I'll be at Pluckers tonight at 8:30 for Ford Sports Trivia. We'll be watching LSU baseball and having some fun with some trivia, so make this part of your Tuesday evening. Make this part of your next hour. Coming back next on Hunt and Hill.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field here on a Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill. We will be heavy on the advocate guests here in the second hour. Scott Rabalais in 30 minutes from right now, talking all things LSU. And for now, we will welcome to the show a full-time worker for the Advocate who covers the LSU baseball team, also a part-time show booker here for Hunt and Hill. She gave us a little help with the guest for tomorrow's show. Travis Hines up there in Iowa covering the Cyclones will be with us tomorrow. Thanks to Leah for hooking us up with him. Leah, thanks so much for your time.
Hey, like I said, if you ever need anything Iowa, which you never thought you needed, I'm here.
So my only relationship with Iowa has been staying in Iowa for the College World Series and driving over the border to Nebraska. So, yeah, I do need some help with my Iowa connections, and you came through a big way this morning, so we certainly appreciate it. All right, let's talk a little baseball here. Tigers get a big sweep over the weekend, but I think the biggest story from that weekend was Blake Money walking off the field with his arm dangling down by his side. It looked awful to those of us who have been around here for a few years and have seen some big-time Friday night starters go down with injury, but it appears that it's not super serious. What was Jay's report yesterday?
Yeah, like you said, Jay said that it's not something that will require a length of time off, which is as specific as he got. But Blake got some treatment over the weekend, and he seems to be making some sort of progress. But yeah, there's no word on whether or not he'll start on Friday. It just appears that I know that everybody's super worried, and everybody in my Twitter mentions has decided they're a doctor. But I'm here to tell y'all that as far as I know, everything should be fine at this point in time. Now, if something comes out later, I'll let y'all know.
So we've had a lot of coaches come and go in different sports around here. Les Miles didn't tell you anything ever about injuries. Everybody was fine, and it was all good. Paul Maneri told you exactly what was wrong. Will Wade was a little bit wishy-washy with some things, and Ed Ogeron told you exactly what was wrong. You've seen Alex Milazzo go down now. Money's had some issues. What is Jay like in terms of being forthcoming with the media as to what the injury situations are?
I kid you not. The other day I asked about, I think, Javen Coleman and Alex Milazzo and all that, and he said, well, they're all progressing towards health. And I was like, well, I certainly hope so. I mean, I would hope they're not regressing towards anti-health. But so he's been very vague in general, and I understand that, and I'm not trying. There are things that I know, but things I'm not comfortable revealing, obviously, because you don't want to cross that line when you're trying to formulate relationships with coaches and players and build trust as a reporter. So it's been an interesting line to toe is okay, how much am I being told on the record that I can reveal? And also it is medical information. So it's also probably up to the players, what they want their coach to reveal.
Sure, for sure. So we'll be on the lookout for more information. Hopefully Blake Money able to give LSU a little bit of help as Southeastern Conference play is on deck this weekend. But tonight, LSU in Tulane from the box at 6:30. Sounds like you just reported that Will Helmers will get the ball for LSU. He's kind of been slated in that midweek role, the first 2-3 innings for him. What have you seen from the sophomore?
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously he started last week against McNeese and had a pretty solid outing. I think he only allowed one hit. and walked 2 guys in 4 innings. So that was pretty impressive. I think, he was throwing a lot of pitches for strikes, and he seems very composed when he takes the mound. And I know that Jay has a ton of trust in Will Helmers. That's what he said to us a few weeks back. So I think that, he could be one of those guys who is a midweek starter consistently a midweek starter for the Tigers.
Talk about Jacob Berry. I know a lot has been made of his play in right field, but talk about how he's been in the batting box this season, really helping the team with his power.
Obviously he was named one of the National Collegiate Players of the Week by Collegiate Baseball yesterday. When you're hitting like 3 home runs in one weekend, I think that's, that says it all, right? So, yeah, he's been, one of the top sluggers on this team, obviously, and he just kind of adds like an extra weapon to this offense that's already pretty stacked. I mean, I think Cade Doty obviously has also been having like a really good time at bat too. And so I think that, Barry's just kind of like this bonus guy, he's just kind of like this extra piece to the lineup that was already pretty stacked. And obviously he's now the guy. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than the fact that Jacob Berry's a really good hitter. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
That is certainly the case. Leah Vann, LSU beat writer with the baseball team for The Advocate. Catcher, Milazzo's been down a little bit. They've gone with McManus most of the time. Hasn't quite found it offensively. Travinsky's gotten a couple of at-bats. But does it feel like because of the way that the position has progressed in his absence that Milazzo is more etching himself as the starter and the preferred option there?
Yeah, I think so. I think defensively he probably stands out a little bit more. I know that he has a good ability to kind of steal pitches too, and I know that that's a huge part of like Jason Kelly's philosophy is making a lot of those pitches look like strikes when maybe they aren't. And then offensively he has gotten better as far as, well, I didn't watch him last year obviously, but from looking at the numbers and everything else that I can conclude he has gotten better. And I think obviously he has a little bit more chemistry with some of these pitchers that have been around now with like the transfer pitchers. I mean, anything goes, but I think Milazzo is a little bit stronger than McManus, but it is good that they have McManus, got him from the transfer portal because obviously Milazzo's out right now. So it's also good to get McManus those reps just in case.
To me, a guy I think has earned some playing time this year is Giovanni Giacomo. He's batting .400 with 20 at-bats for the season. Do you think he's a guy that can start in the outfield possibly, or do you think he's going to come in and set in that substitute role like he's kind of been doing all season?
Yeah, I think he's going to end up starting in the outfield, to be honest. And I think Jacob Berry might be stronger as a third baseman than he is a right fielder. And I think putting him at right field, for certain situations can work out. But I think that Gio is probably faster and also more experienced in the outfield. And so I think that there's an added comfort to putting him in that position rather than Berry, who's still kind of learning the position, kind of as like a, if we need to go there, we'll go there situation. And that moves Berry to third base, which is something that obviously he has a little bit more experience at. And Jay has said a lot about his throwing arm, and that's something that's really important at third base too. So, and obviously he's not as fast as Gio in the outfield. So we've all seen that. So I think Gio could probably be a starter.
Defense was a little bit better over the weekend. Did Jay mention that, or what have you seen with your 2 eyes?
Repeat the question.
Yeah, the team defense just a little bit better over the weekend. Did Jay have anything to say about that? And I mean, you've watched every inning. Have you seen him improve defensively since a really, really rocky start?
Yeah, Jay said that he was really proud of. I think there was only like one fielding error throughout the past 4 games that they played, right. And he said he felt like it was a lot cleaner. He felt a lot more confident about the way they played. Of course, the competition wasn't quite as, up there, but I also feel like from my perspective of watching, you can see the guys get a little bit more confidence with every rep and being like, okay, these are where my throws are supposed to be. I think part of it in which some of the players were kind of telling me was like, okay, we know we can make these routine plays, and it's actually getting really frustrating that we're not, because we all know we're better than this. And I think, a lot of times athletes maybe get ahead of themselves, and I think that's what was happening, is they were just kind of thinking ahead of themselves, like, this is something I've done a million times before, so I'm just going to do it. It's no big deal. Next play. And then they're not focusing on the moment of making the play. And so, and I think a lot of the players, like Jay was saying yesterday, that they were really frustrated after Houston, and they were determined to get better. And Will Helmers actually said the day after when we talked to him that they had like the best practice they had in a very long time, because I think they were just all very determined to clean it up.
You think about Maine, Towson, Southern, and what you saw last weekend, a team that was overmatched in Bethune-Cookman. Obviously, the lights were real bright in Houston against really good teams, but 3 of the weekends have been a little bit sleepy. Do you get the sense the team's ready to crank it up with SEC play coming up this Friday?
Yeah, I think they're itching for that kind of competition. I think Tulane's actually a good competition tonight. I think that's really interesting because Tulane, actually, beat Mississippi State in 2 of its 3 games, and also beat Louisiana Tech. And so I think there's good competition there, and that'll be a good measuring stick, too, and to how the Tigers are going to approach this weekend. But I think, when the conference play is on the line, it's definitely going to be more exciting, more energy, and the fans will be there, and they're going to feed off of it.
Leo Van will be there tonight. LSU and Tulane, 6:30 from the box. You can listen on Eagle 98.1. Pregame show cranks up at 6 o'clock. Leah, thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Leah Van from The Advocate covering the LSU baseball team. I agree with the defensive stuff. When a team comes out and they're just really not running the football in football, how much better do you think they're going to get when they come out and you just can't throw it in the ocean from 3-point range? It's just how much better you're going to get. This baseball team was kicking around and throwing it around, but I've seen these guys make these plays. Yeah, Barry in right field may be a question mark. He would be a question mark at third base, too. But Jordan Thompson and Cade Doty are good defenders. Alex Milazzo is not going to make a ton of errors. Trey Morgan made an error. I mean, that's just never going to happen. And so I think that it was just kind of a little bit fluky. Do I think they're going to be the best defensive team in the country? No. Do I think they're going to make more routine plays than they don't? Yeah, I think they're going to be fine on defense.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that was the most puzzling for me is routine, ground ball, double plays that you should be making. Routine, grounders, the shortstop that you should be making, and you're throwing them over the first baseman's head. And Trey Morgan seemed like he was doing splits for most of the season trying to catch a lot of the balls that were thrown at him. So I think they've done a lot better job of that, especially as of late. You got to continue that going in SEC play because it's going to be a lot harder to get through some of these lineups. The last thing you want to be doing is giving some of these teams 30 and 31 outs to get through some of these games because that's going to be a lot of runs, especially when you look at the consistency of pitching that we've kind of had all season.
Curious as to what the crowd's going to look like on Friday night in the box because I would tell you that it'd be a great crowd. Now all of a sudden you've got an NCAA tournament game right in the middle of it, but does anyone care about the NCAA tournament game around here anymore? It's a lot of different factors to toss into one. I think that the atmosphere will probably be a little bit better on Saturday than it will be on Friday just because I do think there will be some people that stay home to watch basketball. But we shall see. Tigers Southeastern Conference opener, Texas A&M on Friday night from the box. When we come back, there's still some more movement going on in free agency. Another former Tiger just got paid, and he's going to be in the NFC South. We'll tell you where. Coming up next on Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill.
Start your bracket with a bang. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right. You get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How to bet the bracket is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more.
Sure can. First 4 games start tonight. Johnny Jones's Texas Southern squad is on the hardwood. They are a 3.5-point favorite in order to get that 16 seed. They're playing Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You want to throw a few bucks on Johnny Jones' squad? You can do that. I like it. Indiana and Wyoming will be this evening. Indiana is a 5-point favorite in that one. So download the FanDuel Sportsbook and get involved with it. You can join the FanDuel today and get the promo code 1045ESPN. Place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. That's promo code 1045ESPN on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. The bonus is issued as a non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, The Early Line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person. Connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthy.
My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why.
Have you found yours?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
For a Wednesday edition of Off the Bench, T-Bob Hebert makes his return. Did LSU take care of Tulane in the midweek? What's the latest with Deshaun Watson and the New Orleans Saints? Join us 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Thanks to Leah Vann for jumping aboard. She's, of course, with The Advocate. So is Scott Rabalais, who will be with us in about 15 minutes. Scott has been at some press conferences today for women's hoops as well as gymnastics. I want to get his thoughts on the men's basketball situation, both the NCAA tournament and where they go from here after Will Wade. So we'll have Scott Rabalais on here very, very shortly. In the meantime, the NFL's free agency ticker just keeps on moving. A couple of former Tigers in the news. First and foremost, want to give a congratulations, a job well done, and a happy retirement. Andrew Whitworth has announced his time in the NFL is done. He goes out a Super Bowl champ. I know you've spent a lot of time around Andrew Whitworth. That is a guy who is a consummate professional, a great player, an excellent representative of LSU, and now a champion as he goes out and potentially a Hall of Famer one day.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can see that. Just doing everything the right way. Just gave a ton of years to the state of Ohio and that city of Cincinnati on just being a pillar in the community, being a leader on the football team. And it's kind of funny how things came full circle. And now this last game, he's playing them in the Super Bowl for all the marbles and obviously coming out on top. Just huge. And I think winning Walter Payton Man of the Year just shows just the type of guy Andrew is and type of family guy he is and just everything he does on and off the field. You definitely got to tip your cap to him. And really, he's had a phenomenal career. And I definitely think you can make a case for him being a Hall of Famer for sure.
Playing at that age, at that position, at that level is truly amazing. And some of these guys just defy age. It's amazing. You start looking at some of the pictures that were on Twitter of Tom Brady and compare to some of the other guys who have played near 40 years old and what he looks like and what they looked like at that time. And Andrew Whitworth was just long, lean, athletic, and getting it done over 40 years old, dealing with these edge rushers and did it at a Pro Bowl type level all the way to the end. Hat tip to Andrew Whitworth, who is entering retirement and should enjoy all of that. Speaking of former Tigers, entering a new situation, former Falcons wide receiver Russell Gage is expected to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady decides he's coming back. Russell Gage says, I'll jump on board with that. He's a redemptorist wolf. What do you think about that fit with Russell Gage?
I love it. You figure Tampa Bay isn't going to break the bank and re-sign Chris Godwin, so now you're going to need some more receivers over there for Tom to throw the ball to, and I think Russell fits that mold perfectly. He can move him in the slot. He's a very athletic guy. I'm sure they're going to find ways to get him the ball, and playing with the best quarterback to do it is only going to help his career. So I'm so excited for him. Gets to go to a division rival and really, try to be the receiver that I know he can definitely be in this league.
Look, and this is totally changing gears from Russell Gage, who I think is an unbelievable story. We talked about Duke Riley just about 20 minutes ago and the story that he has been, and then you realize that it's very similar stories with Justin Jefferson, Duke Riley, and, of course, Russell Gage, guys who were really the last player into their signing class, were pretty unheralded, took some time to develop at LSU, and then became stalwarts in the NFL, and Russell Gage surely fits that mold. The smoke is increasing as you look on Twitter, look at inside sources, look at the television, wherever you look. The Saints are being very, very, very heavily talked about in the Deshaun Watson rumors. Now, Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause, and he is under contract with the Texans. The reports are that he has okayed the Saints and the Panthers as landing spots. Our Citizens Bank poll question of the day is, should the Saints take a look at Deshaun Watson? I heard on Mike Greenberg's show yesterday, they were debating whether or not Deshaun Watson was a top 2 or 3 QB in the NFL 2 years ago. I don't know if I was ready to quite go there, but clearly he is a franchise-level quarterback. Now, the baggage is enormous at this point, but you've got time to do background checks and look into all this kind of stuff, and if he deems it necessary, from a football perspective, it makes a ton of sense. From a PR perspective, it's a little bit of a different story. What are your thoughts on the Saints being as heavily involved in the Deshaun Watson rumors as we believe them to be?
I think once kind of the hammer didn't get slammed down as far as criminal charges, went, and them really not pursuing that, the grand jury really not pursuing that, I think a lot of GMs and a lot of owners' eyes really brightened up and opened up, because now that's out the window. Now you can kind of make a case, which is what you've seen over the past couple of days, teams really amping up their pursuit of him, and with that being kind of out the table, I think the other stuff isn't that big of a blow. You can kind of make a sell for that. You can kind of make a push for that. If there's not going to be anything criminally going after, Deshaun Watson. So I think for the Saints, they know how important it was, getting Drew Brees to the city of New Orleans, just him turning around the franchise totally. They know how important it is to have a quarterback like that. And to me, Deshaun Watson is still that guy. You may not be able to make that case that he's a top 3 quarterback right now, but you can still make the case he's a top 3 talent. And I think anyone who knows the talent of Deshaun Watson knows how much he can affect the franchise, which is why you're seeing teams, willing to mortgage their future to get a guy like that on their roster.
I have made it very clear on my time on the air, I am just far more comfortable in discussions about what relief pitcher to bring in, what quarterback to start, or what defense you need to run in the second half of a tight basketball game. I like talking about things that happen in sports. When you get outside the field, and especially when you get inside the courtroom, I'm uncomfortable. Like, that's the nature of it. Now, this job requires that you comment on things like this. As a general rule, in sports, I'm going to allow the criminal justice system in the United States to handle it, and then I will just take whatever comes from that, and I'll react to it. This, although no criminal charges are being filed, was a remarkable amount of complaints, accusations, and allegations. It's hard for me to believe that this entire thing was made up. And so when I look at it on its face, I'm like, there's reason for me to assess the situation and go, this doesn't look like a very good dude. And that contrasts from looking at this and going, the criminal justice system said there are no charges filed. He can go play. Because that's generally where I lean. But in this situation, feels a little bit icky to me. And again, I pull for the laundry. I don't try to act like I know what type of person every player or coach or executive is when they leave the playing field. So more often than not, I'm going to evaluate the play and just leave it at that. I sat there and cheered like crazy for the Chicago Cubs in 2016, and there was a guy pitching for them in the 8th inning of Game 7 who had taken a gun and shot up his garage and endangered his girlfriend at the time. Is Aroldis Chapman a great dude? No, he's not. He was wearing my team's jersey. It was Game 7 of the World Series, and I was locked in. At that point, I have a hard time going, oh, I don't know if he's a great guy or makes a lot of charitable in contributions, so not great. I probably won't pull for him. Like I don't usually. This one, because you're in control of it, and it just feels wrong to me. Now, we've got a poll question up. Should the Saints take a look at Deshaun Watson? And we'll get you the results at the end of the show. And right now, it's overwhelmingly yes, they should. It just feels like not a great look to me. I'm being as honest as I can.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. If you want to be, in the public eye and think the antics and all this stuff is a distraction, all this stuff, but it's technically, we're in America. You're innocent until proven guilty. He hasn't been proven guilty of anything. And if you ask Deshaun, he said he's been, denying this from day one. He hasn't taken any, civil deals or paid anyone to, be quiet or anything. He's, maintained his innocence since all of this started. So this depends on what side of the road you want to sit at. If you want to think, hey, this guy's innocent, this is, since he wanted to be traded, that's when all this stuff happened. Or you can say, well, when there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of allegations. There's a lot of stuff going on. I wouldn't be mad at anyone making either case at that because, when you look at, the amount of people that's kind of been saying the same thing, I can see how it could scare some people off. But me knowing how the NFL works, once the kind of criminal stuff gets out of the picture, these CMs are trying to win now. They're trying to win a championship now. There's people crawling at their jobs. You got to win. You got to put a product out there that's winning. Deshaun Watson can help a lot of teams out tremendously in that effect. So I don't see them making a big deal about it.
Bilbo Baggins in the Bayou Ford chat says, surprised you haven't brought up the Tiger Woods reference. Look, that's one of those deals. I pull for Tiger like crazy when he's playing. That is a little bit different because he wasn't breaking the law. He just ripped his family apart, making bad decisions off the golf course. That is never going to affect my sports allegiance. I want you to be faithful to your wife. I want you to be a great family person. What happens off the court or off the course or off the field in that perspective and how once you start playing, I'm just going to pay attention to sports. That's the way that I'm going to choose to because I think if you try to be the person who's determining your rooting interests based on how good of a person you're not going to have the information. And then, once you have it with Tiger, look, really, really bad family dude for a long time there. But it's fun to watch him play golf. So I watch him play golf. This is a little bit different when you've got legal implications coming forward with Deshaun Watson. So it's interesting, and the story's going to progress. But look, you cannot go anywhere on Twitter, on the internet, off TV, radio, anywhere without seeing the Saints very heavily connected to Deshaun Watson. As quarterbacks start to move around, we see Mitch Trubisky go up to Pittsburgh, and we'll see what happens with Jimmy Garoppolo. You see Carson Wentz move around. The quarterback things are moving, and the Saints are kind of laying in the weeds, and we'll see what it is they decide to do here moving forward. But it's been heavily connected, and we'll see if that becomes the case. We'll comment on it further, but right now we'll move right on along, and we will get to Scott Rabalais, who will join us in the next segment talking all things LSU. We will talk LSU men's basketball tournament, Will Wade, some LSU women's things. Lots to get to with Scott, and that comes up next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill.
Go to BayouFord.com. They've always got their great new deals and specials over there, and they're so easy to access. The website's so easy to use. They've got their used inventory. They've got their new inventory. You can get to the service. You can get to the parts. And this March, they've got some incredible new incentives. They've got a new 2021 Ford F-150, 0% APR for 60 months, plus $1,000 in bonus cash. I could spout deals all day long from Bayou Ford. They've got them on the website if you want them. I like more so talking about what it's like to be a Bayou Ford customer. The amount of convenience that is involved is second to none in the area. look, they've got 6 full-time drivers that will drive vehicles to you. They will customize your vehicle, get it back to you in 60 to 90 days. Call Ben down there at Bayou Ford and tell him what you want. They will make it work. 75% of the customers who shop with Bayou Ford customize their vehicles. That's what they do each and every day, and they can do it for you. All you got to do is go to BayouFord.com or just make the short drive down there to LaPlace and check out what they've got.
Yeah, new SCA Performance Ford trucks and truck packages are sold exclusively through partnering Ford dealerships all over the world. Bayou Ford in LaPlace, Louisiana is an exclusive SCA Performance dealer. That means your SCA truck can be purchased from the largest SCA Performance dealership in Louisiana and one of the largest in the country. You no longer have to dish out thousands of dollars to upgrade what you want after buying a truck. At Bayou Ford, we do right by you. Don't believe us? Check out our reviews.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota.
On a Tuesday edition of Early Line, we made it to March Madness, and Lee Sterling of the Locked On Bets podcast joins the show to give us some picks. Plus, we look ahead to LSU's opening round matchup with Iowa State. Join us, 2 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Got a couple promotions going on 1045ESPN.com. If you go to the contest page on 1045ESPN.com, you can find Earlapalooza, where we're giving away tickets. Tell you about it all week. Nelly, Flo Rida, Manny Fresh. Going to be an incredible show on Saturday starting just after noon. Parish County Line will also be involved. We are giving away tickets. You go to 1045ESPN.com on the contest link. Go to Earlapalooza. You can get tickets. We also have the Bracket Challenge going on right now, brought to you by Coors Light and Acura of Baton Rouge. Got some great prizes, and relatively speaking, it's not a massively attended deal. You've got a good chance to win it if you can put a decent bracket out there. First place wins $2,022 in cash. Second place gets a 75-inch TV and soundbar. Third place picks up a 2-night stay at the Beau Rivage. Last place, if you just stink or intentionally pick all the tickets, which is what you should do, you get a $100 gift card to Twin Peaks. So go to 1045ESPN.com, Earlapalooza tickets, and the Bracket Challenge brought to you by Coors Light and Acura of Baton Rouge. We go to the phone lines now. Scott Rabalais of The Advocate joins us. Scott, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys today?
Doing okay. I've told it on the air many times over the last 2 days. I'm feeling a little sad about LSU's basketball program. I've had a lot of fun over the last 5 years, and it feels like that's about to come to a screeching halt whenever this NCAA tournament run is over. You'd imagine sanctions, roster turnover could get real nasty, but I want to get your perspective as someone who's been in this town covering a lot of this stuff for a long time. How surprised were you at the timing of Will Wade's dismissal?
I wasn't surprised at the timing necessarily. A little surprised, I guess. I mean, you never expected. I thought before the tournament even starts, but once they got the notice of allegations, now looking back on it, it seems to make a little more sense. I think LSU is trying to do everything it can to mitigate the penalties, the sanctions that are going to be coming their way, not just for basketball, but for football, by showing that they're as proactive as possible. Once they got the NOA, I think they're doing that. So, in retrospect, it's not that surprising. Like, they've had a long time to percolate over what this could mean, how they were going to react, and a couple of facts. As I wrote last week, Will Wade is not Scott Woodward's guy, and if he need, not that he needed a pretense to get rid of him, but this is like, okay, this is the opportunity. Go ahead and cut your losses as much as you can, and then try to, gain a little favor with the NCAA, which is, I don't think they can say that the school, that the current administration anyway, Woodward and Tate, gave them a lot of grief. Tried to push things off and stuff like that. They waited for the allegations to come out. They were able to act on the contract despite what people like Pat Forty say, stuff like that. You got to give someone a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Once you got the stuff in hand, then you can move. And they did about as quickly as possible.
There's no question that LSU now, in their response to the NCAA, will try to pin as much of this on Will Wade and Bill Armstrong and whatever goes on at Our Lady of the Lake, as opposed to the institution itself and the athletic program itself. The question is, do you believe the NCAA will buy any of that?
They well might. Yeah, I mean, look, you can say, you can say, Wade and Armstrong. You can say the John Paul Funes situation, the Odell Beckham thing. I still can't believe that is they're making such a big deal about that, because other than SMLSU people saying at the time, well, it might have been fake money. Come on, guys. I don't think anybody ever bought that. So aside from that, they didn't know Odell was going to act the fool, in the locker room after the game. They didn't ask him to do that. But I think they've got a chance to like I said, cut their losses here a little bit to try to protect football and the whole athletic department, which I think is the big deal. And then you try to see what you can do for basketball, and you might. The good thing about basketball is, with a recruiting class and a transfer class now or two, you could make a comeback very quickly once you get this stuff behind you.
So with the NCAA noticing LSU, the notice of allegations, what type of hammer do you think is going to be realistic that they're going to lay down on LSU? Do you think postseason ban, scholarships, death penalty? Like, what do you think is really on the table here as far as the NCAA goes?
Yeah, well, they don't do the death penalty anymore. I mean, I don't think any school's gotten the death penalty since SMU in the 80s, so that's not something people need to worry about. They've steered away from that. This is serious. Like, you might think, oh, this is something everybody does. Well, that's fine, but they still, not everyone gets hit with lack of institutional control, and that is something I don't ever recall LSU getting hit with before. with the Lester Earl case or some of the other cases that have come up over the years. So that's pretty heavy. I think probably a postseason ban or two, but this could be a really bad. They could have a really bad record the next couple of years anyway. So it's probably not something they're going to get. I'm thinking, NCAA sanctions are so hard to pin down. They're so capricious. It's the old joke. Notre Dame committed violations and East Carolina got put on probation. I mean, it's that kind of thing can happen, but probably a couple of years, a couple of scholarships. The fact that you can't really say. I don't think they're going to say that, or LSU is trying to say that there are no current players on the roster who are involved. Probably helps. So, and I don't think the NCAA is going to want to penalize them going forward. But it's really hard to say, and we have months to go with this. With the LSU response and the NCAA's response and the hearing, and then the final sanction. So, but there will be something. There will be some penalties. They're going to be pretty serious. I think people at LSU were probably surprised by the length, the number of allegations against the program, and they're trying to do their best to cut that down. Maybe they'll throw some out. That could always be a case too. LSU may dispute a couple of them, but that's going to be interesting to see if they do. But because the NCAA may react to that one way or another, I'm sure they think this is what we got on you. And if LSU fights something too hard, then maybe they say, no, we still got you. And then the penalties are harsher. So I don't know if you throw yourself on the mercy of the court or not, but there's always a possibility that a couple of things get thrown out.
It's my contention that you look at a 12-man roster and a 5-man signing class, I think it's likely that maybe 2 or 3 stick around for next year. I think this thing will be totally gutted in the era of the transfer portal and getting out of your letter of intent that most of it was all connected to Will Wade. So it's going to be a pretty dire situation here, in my opinion. The question for you, I'm not going to ask you for names that Scott Woodward might hire for a basketball coach. Maybe I'll ask you for some sort of profile. Do you think it's going to have to be some young up-and-comer that will take the job even though he knows the first 2 years might be bumpy? Is it still Woodward, big name, big salary? What do you think is the direction here?
Yeah, I mean, we had a thing in the paper today with some names to mention. Look, that's just, we're kind of, it's a little dartboard throwing, I have to admit. But, there's a few names that are circulating out there. But the problem comes in, as I said, this process still has a long way to run. Just because they got the NOA and they fired Will Wade, this doesn't end anytime soon. And so you want to hire a coach. Look how fast Georgia just moved to hire Mike White, right? And you'd like to hire a coach soon after the NCAA tournament ends. You'd like to hire someone. LSU has done that, several times in men's and women's basketball in recent years. But that coach is going to be like, look, I don't know what my future is going to be. So I think it's going to be really hard to get a big name. I think that might make Woodward do something that is not his MO, which is to go more the young up-and-comer route. But then maybe you go with an interim coach or something like that for a year. You go through one season, it's going to be bad anyway. So maybe you do that. I don't know, who that could be. I mean, y'all can speculate, but maybe you do that and then try to hire someone next year once you figure out where you are and where you are going forward. But that said, Scott Woodward has done an impressive job of putting together contracts that people have a hard time saying no to, and maybe you give someone a 4 years guaranteed or 5 years guaranteed and 7-year contract. Maybe that does the trick. I don't know, but I think it's going to be his toughest sell to date for any of the coaches, any of the big name jobs he's had to fill so far.
No question. Kevin Nickelberry, the interim head coach, as LSU heads up to Milwaukee for their first game coming up on Friday night. They will get Iowa State. What's your anticipation for LSU's performance, effort level, all that in this first weekend in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, these are two teams that kind of mirrored each other, great starts, and kind of had very bumpy up and down conference schedules. Iowa State, I don't know a lot about them, but I'm just thinking from LSU's perspective, I was just watching them. We were out here for some interviews with softball and gymnastics and at the PMAC, and they came out on the floor, and we were watching the first few minutes of practice, and they seem pretty normal. I think those of us on the outside tend to think about all the distractions and stuff like that. It's a good thing for them to step on the court and to be in practice and to be in film sessions and stuff like that and get away from all this other stuff. And they're leaving town, sometime tomorrow to fly up to Milwaukee. That's going to be a good thing for them too. That said, if they get past Iowa State, Wisconsin likely waiting in the second round in Milwaukee, you're right in the middle of cheesehead country. So I thought the over-under on them in the SEC tournament was a win and a loss. That's what they did. I think the over-under here is a win and a loss. I think a lot of 11s beat a lot of 6s, but I think they can be focused enough to get that win. And obviously, you have a really tough test with the third-seeded Wisconsin team likely facing you in the second round. So that's what I expect. I think expecting this team to get to the second weekend as the 2019 team did in similar circumstances is going to be asking a lot.
A lot of people talking about, with the firing of Coach Wade, it was a savior for the football program. Do you think there's more, sanctions or anything that's going to happen with football going forward? I know that's been a big concern for people in Baton Rouge. Yeah,
it's something that people have to be concerned about. That they've looked so deeply into both programs for so long that there could be something else. And look, you don't need any other kind of. You don't need Odell coming around waving a bunch of cash at people again. You don't need anything crazy like that. Coming out, not saying him necessarily, but something crazy, somebody doing something crazy or stupid. Look, you have a new coach, a new team, new regime in place, and they're trying to move forward and rebuild the program. I think what you see is what you get. I mean, there's always a possibility, I guess, but I mean, I think they took so long to get this. I think it's one of the things that kind of lulled everyone to sleep a little bit, saying, "God, are they ever going to do anything?" Well, yeah, they finally did. They were doing a lot of work that no one really saw was going on. But I think all this is designed to help mitigate the hit that football has to take, and football's already self-imposed some sanctions and some penalties of the bowl ban from 2 seasons ago and some recruiting things. So all that helps. And we don't know what we don't know, but I think to say that there's a lot more to worry about with football seems unlikely, but you never know with the NCAA. But I think they're moving forward in a way that allows football to prosper. And yes, did they kind of sacrifice Will Wade in a sense for that instead of fighting the whole thing? Yeah, they probably did. But you have to think in a business-like fashion, and I think that's what Woodward and Tate had to do here.
Scott Rabalais with The Advocate is our guest. Scott, what was the draw like for Kim Mulkey's team?
Kim Mulkey's team, I think a lot of it hinges on the health of Alexis Morris. One of their guards, and she averages about 16 points a game. That's really big. She looked good. I saw her when we were here for the selection show on Sunday, and she looked pretty good. She had a smile on her face, so I think things are looking pretty good there. With her, they can go pretty far. I mean, they have everything that you want to have, other than really consistent perimeter shooting. They've got 3 guards who can bring it up the court. They can all score a lot of points. They've got post players. They don't have an extreme amount of depth, and don't have a lot of experience doing this. But you have a coach who has been through these things and seen every kind of scenario in her now 20th NCAA tournament appearance. So if she plays, I think they're going to the Sweet 16, and they can possibly, go a little farther. And with an upset in their path, who knows? Maybe they can get to the Final Four. I don't think that should be expected. I don't think it'd be fair to heap too many high expectations on them. But it should be a second weekend team if Morris can play like she did during the regular season.
Thanks so much for your time, Scott. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care.
Scott Rabalais from The Advocate, our guest. Come back and close it out on a Tuesday. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Brake Medics, BrakeMedics.com. Brake repair anywhere. They will come to you, to your home, to your office to repair your brakes. They take appointments up to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. And like I told you yesterday, look, we all have budgets, have this, that, and we don't necessarily put car maintenance into the budget. So it's never a great time to have your brakes fixed. But BrakeMedics can make things easier on your financial situation because they offer 6-month financing, same as cash, 0% interest. So $450 to change those brakes. They'll take it in installments and make things easier on you. They're easy on you with the convenience because they can get to you, easy on you financially. It's just a win-win situation with BrakeMedics. Go to the website, like Jeremy will tell you. It's real easy to get a quote.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to BrakeMedics.com for your free quote today. You log into their website, put the make, year, and model of your vehicle, and whatever brake symptoms your vehicle may be dealing with at the time. They'll have all those options right there on the website for you to put in. Put your name, email, and phone number, and BrakeMedics.com will get back to you with the free quote today.
Every job comes with a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. BrakeMedics, find them at BrakeMedics.com. BrakeMedics, we make house calls.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. We'll continue watching the Saints' pursuit of Deshaun Watson, and we'll start to prepare you for LSU Iowa State in the big dance. Join us Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Citizens Bank brings the poll question every day here on Hunt and Hill. Today's, should the Saints take a look at Deshaun Watson in not free agency, the trade market? Pretty convincing. 82% say yes, give it a look. Of course, 18% say no thanks, we are good. Citizens Bank, bring that poll question each and every day. Let's do a little bit of take it or leave it before we get down the road. Jeremy, fire away.
All right. The AP All-American team for college basketball was released, with Oscar Tshiebwe being the only player from the SEC being named to the first team. Are you taking or leaving J.D. Notae, Walker Kessler, or Jabari Smith? Shouldn't have gotten a nod for the first team.
I'll leave that. Some guys with better statistics, better players. I'm not taking any of them off the draft board before Jabari Smith, but I think in terms of production at the college level, which is what we want, I think that those guys are great players, but not quite necessarily All-Americans. Steve Nash is hopeful Ben Simmons will return to the floor this season after he's missed some time for mental health reasons. Ben Simmons is going to play this year. Take it or leave it.
Oh, man. I guess I'll take it. Look, he seems healthy as an ox to me. He's out there warming up, shooting around, running around, wearing Louis Vuitton sweatshirts, hanging out on the bench, but just hadn't played basketball. I think for that Nets team that they're going to need him, especially with Kyrie. I don't even know what's going on in that situation. That's just
courtside with no mask on, not able to play.
Yeah, courtside at the same arena he plays in, going into the locker room with the team after the game, but can't play in the lineup. So hopefully Ben can go out there and help that basketball team because they're going to definitely need it. Just been tough not seeing him out there on the floor. All right, here, the Atlantic League and the Independent League used by MLB to tinker with rules will restore a previously tested rule that lets batters attempt to advance to first base if a pitch is not caught in the air by the catchers. Batters can try for first even if the base is occupied. They'll be awarded a hit if they reach. MLB hopes the rule will encourage a better control from pitchers by de-incentivizing wild pitches and pass balls. Taking a first on a wild pitch, take it or leave it.
I'm leaving it. This is a ridiculous rule. You cannot let hitters run to first when a pitcher throws a wild pitch. That is insane. That's changing the fabric of the game. We're not doing that. Shift, you can talk about all you want, DH, whatever. That is ridiculous, and I think it's a stupid thing to try to do. So that's my thought on that moving forward. Thanks so much to Leah Van and Scott Rabalais for joining us in this hour. If you missed any of the show, you can find it on demand at 1045ESPN.com. Matt's going to drive you home 3 to 6 today. Jimmy Ott's Game Time from 6 to 8. Mario and Musso have your early line, and they will follow us immediately coming up. We'll be back tomorrow. Got some beat writers from Iowa State. Got Patrick Young of the SC Network, Jason Kelly of LSU. Hopefully they get a win tonight against Tulane. We'll see you tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0%